perpetrator cycle. So you're victimized, and then they're going to put you on a pedestal and romance you, and then they're back to the intensity increases, and they're back to emotionally abusing you and or, sexually or physically or whatever, because some of them do become physically violent, some of them are not, and some of them are sexually abusive, and some of them are not. So there's all sorts of, of narcissists out there.
Agreed. One more thing on Facebook Live, Lori Taylor, where does awareness of what we attract come into play? Good question. Thank you, Lori.
That's part of your healing journey. Where does awareness come in your journey, right? That's part of your healing journey as you are becoming more whole and understanding the traumas from your past that are having you basically attract these individuals. So for me, coming back to my story, once the relationship was over, at the end of the day, the relationship ended because he ultimately did rape me. So that traumatized me. And now I could, the love that I had for him no longer allowed me to be close to him because it would create discomfort, panic. I couldn't be in the same space with him. I couldn't breathe. It was not good. So the relationship ended at that point. I could not see that man anymore. So thank God that the trauma finally had me step away. Because if not, they'll keep you hooked on for as long as you allow them in your life to come and go, and they will keep you hooked for an eternity if you allow it. So then I entered into therapy, and to deal with my trauma, I started reading books on narcissists and sociopaths and on trauma bonding. I started interviewing police officers and law enforcement people and domestic violence people who helped in those worlds that I did not have a ton of experience in. So I started to get myself educated. So that was one of the first things that I did. I educated myself. Who the heck was I dealing with? What kind of relationship did I have? This was not normal. This is crazy. And why am I so hurting and pain and suffering? Because I've had other relationships that have ended. This is not my first relationship. Yeah. And I've never felt so traumatized and confused. So I needed to figure out what had happened to me and why I was obsessed with this whole thing, because you become very obsessed with who they are and what happened.
Self-blaming too. I know that the other end of that is a lot of self-blaming. Why am I letting this happen? Or why didn't I see this coming? Or feeling tricked or duped, or the things that I hear all the time.
Oh, yeah. Well, absolutely. I felt I had been, because it's true, we were scammed. They're fraudulent. These are fraudulent individuals. They're criminals at the end of the day. When you speak to these individuals or their partners, they'll tell you, oh, yeah, they've been, not paying their taxes for years. They have been cheating people out of money. So, they're involved with very fraudulent activities, not just, they're not just abusing their partners. There's usually a lot of other things going on in their lives that are not kosher. They kind of like to live above the law, or they know exactly how far to go with the law to get away with it. They're very kind of smart that way.
That's why they think that they're
smart.
But not all narcissists are criminals, though, too.
Yeah, that's correct. So the responsibility comes in that once you have been victimized, you really need to get yourself into therapy, and you really need to understand that you are dealing with a trauma and that you're going to have to go through a journey that may take a few years. For me, it took me 4 years to get out of my trauma, to understand what had happened to me, to articulate it, to actually have a cohesive story that made sense to me of what had happened and how the heck I was taken advantage. And then you end up having a renewed sense of self. You end up having stronger boundaries. You no longer are naive, and the pink and the rosy-colored glasses that we once had are no more. That was the most painful part of my healing, that I had to surrender the pink and rosy-colored glasses that I had where I saw everybody as good, and we all have this ability to be fantastic and wonderful human beings. And, I really then finally had to understand that narcissists and sociopaths are out there, and their intentions were not good for most people.
I'm all into designer. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm all into designer glasses, but that rosy colored glasses are very expensive.
I know they are.
More than Prada.
But you know what? Yeah, it was, to me, that was the most painful part of my identity that had to be released, because I always saw the best in people. That's because I'm a therapist. If I didn't see the best in people, I couldn't help them. I can't help them, but I have to see their best, because I help them to reach their potential. But now I understand I have that part of me, but now there's a part of me that can actually understand and recognize red flags and move myself away from toxic people and not get sucked in to rescuing them or helping people who really don't want help. They just want to exploit. Right. And I now understand the difference.
Because you're in a relationship with a side of guilt all the time. And empathetic people are the ones that really get, sucked into toxic relationships such as this, because they see people as good, or maybe somebody they can fix, or somebody that they, that needs help. And I mean, in the helping profession, we're all suckers for that. but it's, and as I was saying before, when you feel within your self-esteem, your self-worth is where it needs to be, you'll see past toxic people and not being able to feel quote unquote duped, or you'll see through that, because some of us, we all need a touch of narcissism a little bit. It's like, not so much narcissism, but boundary settings, coping skills, not always looking for someone to fix or heal. It's time for our second break, Gianni, but I want to go through some coping skills and signs and help those that feel that maybe they're in a toxic relationship right now. And we'll get to that in just a second. It's time for our second break, and please stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment.
We will return to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner after these messages.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Financial independence is not a dream. It is a decision. Overcoming your financial challenges is like building a house. You must build from the ground up. You must learn how to make more money, save more money, grow your money, and protect your money. Forever Forward Financial specializes in teaching you these 4 basic money skills. Call us today at 727-422-7761 to schedule your complimentary, no-obligation meeting to discuss your needs and concerns.
Are you looking for a great book? If you like to root for the underdog, Joe Potosi's book is a book for you. A real American Odyssey that will grab your attention with its fast-moving narrative. You won't be able to put this masterpiece down. When the Dust Settled by Joe Potosi. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Zulin Press.
Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Warner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one. Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. I'd like to give a shout out to musician-songwriter Don Lawson, who wrote, produced, and performed all the vocals and instruments on my Moments of Clarity theme song. Don gained his inspiration as a mental health counselor himself. He's always looking for artists to record his songs, and you can hear more of Don's music at reverbnation.com/Don Lawson. You can also check him out on Twitter at Don Lawson Music. Thank you so much, Don, for your contribution to Moments of Clarity and ending the stigma on mental health. It's awesome.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Now back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner, licensed mental health counselor. To engage in the conversation, call 866-826-1340. Here's Tiffany.
Hi, and welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Moments of Clarity. My name is Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today, my guest is a psychotherapist, another licensed mental health counselor, and author of From Love Trauma to Fearless Love, 7 Tango Steps for Breaking Free from Narcissists and Predators. And we're talking about noticing the red flags and survival tips and how to survive and recover from trauma associated with toxic relationships. And I want to welcome back to Moments of Clarity, Gianni Adamo. I said it the wrong way.
Yes, Adamo. That's fine.
I've been practicing that, and I knew I was going to get it once. Trying to, but it's spelled Adamo, but it's Adamo. So, for those of you wanting to learn more about Gianni, she's also at www.fearlesslove.net. So, okay, so some coping skills. And first of all, I want to know, how did you get out of that relationship? I mean, I know that you said that he ultimately assaulted you. And what was it? Did you press charges? What did you do to get out?
No, I was traumatized, so I thought it was a mistake. And that's what most victims believe when they're raped by their partners. We don't, because remember, rape is not an act of love. So we can't put rape and love in the same spectrum. It's like, no, it must have been a mistake. So the brain immediately makes an excuse for the behavior and says it was a mistake. And that's exactly what I accepted and told myself, like all other victims, because again, a rape is a betrayal of your trust. Most rape victims are being betrayed by someone that they know and trust. That's the majority of predators. They go after people that they can ultimately betray them. Mm. So that's within the family, whatever. Whatever the relationship is, it was a setup right from the beginning. Hmm. So I took my time. So when the relationship was ending, I had started learning the Argentine tango. And then the relationship ended traumatically for me. I made the excuse immediately, this was a mistake, but I was traumatized, so I couldn't even stand his presence anymore, so the relationship had to finish. And ultimately what happened was I became obsessed with the Argentine tango. So I went dancing because I was dancing the ballroom Latin things about twice a night. And I went from 2 nights a week dancing to 5 to 7 nights a week with the Argentine tango. I had not recognized that my body had found a way to deal with the traumatic stress in a very healthy way, which the Argentine tango is basically dance. You're walking in an embrace. So you're adding body movement with someone holding you, where oxytocin and all of the other endorphins are being released, and I would find my euphoric, happy place and blissful place with the Argentine tango, which was actually balancing out the traumatic stress, with fear, anxiety, and panic were taking over on that side. But then every night I would be like full of all of the love hormones and endorphins to balance out the craziness.
Right. It's a beautiful way
in my brain. So yeah, this is all instinctively. This all happened instinctively for me. I did not intellectually decide I was going to do this. It was just instinctively. Your body has a wisdom to heal, and if you listen to your body, it can find its natural path to healing. I'm very holistic, so it's important to be able to hear our bodies and honor what our body's asking us to do. Obviously, not to turn to sugar, because that's the other thing. The body will request sugar when we're in high trauma and stress to give itself energy. But you want to walk away from all the sugar and alcohol and drugs. You want to go to coping skills. Mm-hmm. So with that, let's talk about some coping skills. The body. You need to, if you are dealing with traumatic stress, and if you are involved with a narcissist, you are dealing with traumatic stress. So, recognize that while you feel like you're going crazy, it's because your brain is now traumatized. So physically, you should be exercising, like doing yoga or walking or joining a gym. I was already involved with the dance world, and my body ultimately loved that, and it really found an outlet there, a creative outlet, which was very beneficial for me. So physically, you need to look at how you want to love yourself and care for yourself. Emotionally, you need to be looking on how you want to care for yourself